I think what got it started is we had a couple drivers that had left Sysco, and they went and worked elsewhere that had a union, and then they came back to Sysco and was trying to push it on a lot of the drivers.
Long routes, and drivers were getting frustrated with it. Working over your 14 hours and stuff like that. I think that was a big deal with it. People just getting frustrated, burn their 16s and then come back and still be in another route. So I think that might have been a cause. When the union tried to come around in 2017, they would call you, they would text you. They came by my house twice. First time they came to my house, because I really didn't know a whole lot about it, and I was like, okay, whatever, and listened to whatever they had to say, and then I was like, all right, well, thank you, I'm not interested. And then another time they came back, I'm out there playing cornhole with my neighbors, having on a Saturday or Sunday, having a good time, and they pull up, and it's like, is there a Willie Harvell here? And I'm like, yeah, and there's like, we're so-and-so with Teamsters, and I told them to get out. And I was like, the sign on the front of my neighborhood says no professional soliciting, and you're trying to make me buy your product that I want. Get out, or I'm calling the cops.
Matter of fact, I had one on one Sunday. I had them call me, what time you gonna be home? I said, I don't know. I used them like that. You don't come to my house.
If they cared about you, they would realize your hours, because they were sometimes coming to people's house at 5, 6 o'clock, calling at 7, 8 o'clock, had pure disregard for anybody's time, downtime. Heck, I get to bed at 5 o'clock. That's the last thing I want to do is get a phone call or have somebody knocking at my door. I'm not very happy when that happens.
They constantly send texts. The union constantly send you texts. They never call, but they always send a text letting us know, well, we got to vote this, we got to do. Nah, wasn't interested.
The guy walks up to me and introduces himself and started to ask me about Sysco, about my insurance and how much I get paid and stuff like that. And he's like, well, we're with the union and we represent some other Sysco houses. And he said, how would you like to have insurance paid free, nothing coming out of your check? He said, yeah. He said, if you bring on the union, he said, we can get you free insurance and we can get you a pay raise. I said, really? And I mean, he went on and on about other stuff that he could do for us and really made it sound really good. And before he left, he did pull out this card, and of course I didn't know anything about the union. Pulled out this card. He's like, well, if you sign this card right here, that'll help get our foot in the door right here, and we can start working for you.
Union promised better benefits, better health insurance, better pay. And our thoughts was, how can they control somebody else's money?
That was the biggest thing, is work less, pay more, and like free health care. But I mean, that's what they promised. And then what if you don't get free health care? Or if you do get free health care, but then you lose what you're already making? I mean, and then turn around and pay them to do it? Doesn't matter. I don't get it.
That's what really confused me. They spent a lot of time trying to get in, and you had drivers that wanted a union, drivers that didn't want a union. But all in all, you're like, what would have happened if the votes would have went through? Why'd you spend so much time around here and then you don't even go through with the actual votes?
When the votes were taken and we didn't get a result in, I didn't hear anything from them at all until the second time they come in. Before, they were calling me, they were showing up at my house. When I wasn't there, about 4 or 5 times, they hassled me all the way up until the vote. And then once the vote came around and we didn't get a result, I didn't hear anything else from them.
That always boggled my mind. I never understood why it took so long for it to be either yes or no. It's just simple. Count the ballots, and that is it. Call it a day.
That was like, turn a light switch. There were no more around. They didn't get what they want. They didn't need any more, and boom, they're out.
So when they did that, and then I found out we would have to go back through all this again, even after we did the petition, I was real angry. They're just a bunch of snakes in the grass. They didn't care about anybody, and we let them know that when they started calling, nobody would answer. So they kind of got the message, and that's why they pulled it. It was like a day before they're supposed to count, and they pulled it. So that tells you what kind of people they are. You know, we couldn't have any gatherings or anything like that. So I'd meet the guys out in the yard, you know, get up, especially all the new guys, because we were bringing in like 7 or 8 guys a week, and they were going to be part of the process. So we were trying to get out in front of all of them, let them know what the majority of the drivers wanted, you know, and that turned out to be beneficial because almost, I think every person that came through that door, they signed the petition. And that was another thing. Once we signed the petition and mailed it off, and they ignored it. That's what I was trying to tell them. You know, we had that to stand on now. You said, look, these people said they're there for you. You never heard from them during COVID. After they said they canceled the election or certified the ballots, nobody ever heard from them again. If they're your brothers, why didn't they contact you during COVID? Reach out to you, find out how your family's doing, or anything like that. Well, you have to go back through the process called contract, I believe, where they go back through negotiations. And when you start going through negotiations, everything's off the table. What we had is gone. What they have, they don't have anything. So you got to start spitballing and throwing stuff on the wall. You're not going to guarantee that we're not going to lose money. You're not going to guarantee. You can't guarantee if we're going to gain anything or anything. It's all coming back to the table, and they're going to argue about it. And if it doesn't work out right, you're not going to be working. So I've got a family to take care of. I don't want to put my faith in somebody that's just going to walk off and say we're striking because I couldn't get health care for my child, or something like that I know I can get here.
That's what I love about here. We can just walk and knock on the door. Hey, come on in. What's going on? What's the problem? There ain't no problem. I just want to let you know what kind of nice day I had. The selectors did this, the loaders did that. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate that. With the union, I have to get in contact with one of the union reps or whatever to explain something like what I want to get off my chest right then and there. And see, I don't want to deal with that.
If I talked to another driver from another Sysco house, I would tell him to do his own research on the union. When I did my own research, it was real sketchy about some of the facts and some of the complaints that other union guys have had against their own union. Don't just take the union's word for it, because they will promise you everything in the world, and don't let them be the deciding factor of your decision.
The only thing that is going to be a promise that's going to happen is you're going to pay your dues, is what it is. Like I said, we're just dollar signs and steel-toe boots is what we are to them. I mean, they're going to say all this stuff. They'll promise you the world, but you're going to end up getting the globe. And it's like, well, this is not what you promised. Well, it didn't work out this time. And I'm like, well, but then once they're in, it's like cancer. Unless you can get some, get rid of cancer, it's like it doesn't go away.
I feel like there's no need to have a middleman and pay the middleman in order to speak for you. That just makes no sense to me. It's like I told the guys, I'm like, if we're on strike for a month, we're not getting paycheck. We still got to pay our union dues, and we still got bills to pay. Who's going to pay my bills and the union dues at the same time? It boggles my mind how some people want to pay someone else to talk for them, when if they have a good relationship in the company, they can do it themselves.
They're liars. Why? And same thing. Why pay for someone? And because the job's still got to get done. If we became unionized and go on strike, all right, I got to stand there with some dumb sign for a week or however long it takes and not get paid. That's another thing too. I did research, but I can still work, but they can fine me for it. So if I made whatever I made that week, they were on strike and I decided to work, they can turn around and fine me for whatever they want or whatever I made that week for working. But they're not going to tell you that.
I believe back in the day, they probably were good. Now I don't think they are. I think they're just about the money and that is it.
What is my thought of the union trying to come in? I don't want to pay a third party to take care of what I can do myself. I don't like the way they promise that they can do better with somebody else's. I couldn't see it. I just couldn't see it. But somebody else's facility, how can you come on and say y'all can change things? Don't work that way.
I'm already paying one company, we call the government, X amount of dollars not to do what they say they're going to do. The union's the same way. And I know that. I have an uncle up in, well, he's passed away up in Maryland. He told me that's the worst thing you could ever get involved in is a union. I've had people from Michigan come down here that work at the AW, auto workers unions. Their pensions are reduced every year just about because they don't have the money to pay these people. This is money that they were banked on living on, and they don't have that. So I'm not gonna sit there and put my faith and my career and my livelihood in somebody else's hands, and I know all they want is the money. They're gonna tell you they can do everything, and they can't promise you anything.
One thing I say, tell them just say no. Hey, go to your supervisor, talk to your supervisor. You get the union, you ain't got no supervisor. The union gonna be your supervisor. Then who gonna help you? He not gonna come out and help you. You can't go to him, ask him for a raise. He ain't gonna get no raise, you paying him. So, my thing is, don't do it. It ain't worth it.